So good morning, my name is Samuel and I'm on the second affirmative for raising the legal age from 18 to 21 for tobacco consumption. So just to answer your questions, first of all, when you started yours for the negative side, you just admitted that smoking cigarettes was harmful, and it is harmful, and we all know that. That's why we want this change from 18 to 21. You even said it, you guys are on the negative side of changing it, but you just stated that it is harmful. As questioning our policy will have no change but the age limit from 18 to 21. That's because we don't want to create sorts of problems for everyone else that they have to go through. It's just like alcohol, they're going to get ID'd before purchasing tobacco. And then you said about the e-cigarettes and vapes, which have significantly gone up as smoking cigarettes has gone down. And you stated about nicotine. Well, that's one of the biggest problems, the nicotine in cigarettes, which cause addiction. And then also, you stated that 5 million kids get access to cigarettes. That's once again the reason why we're implementing this policy. And that's because with our policy, we know that this generation is not going to get greatly impacted because smoking at 18 has been their norm for the past years. And we do see a decline, and we acknowledge that there's a decline with the current programs, and we're not changing any programs or anything. We're just changing the smoking age from 18 to 21. The programs are working because we see the constant decrease in tobacco consumption, but we want to end it. The percentage that we want to accomplish is nearly to zero. It's never going to reach, there's never absolute zero, but we want to get closer and protect our youth, our next generation. Not our current already knows smoking at 18, and that has become their norm, but our main policy will protect the upcoming generations. And also, you with even with the decline in cigarettes, there's still 45 million people that die smoking-related diseases. So, as for 90% of teens that take up smoking by the time they reach 18, 9 out of 10 smokers take up smoking by the time they reach 18. 36,000 kids in the Golden State start smoking each year because of our current policies. Tobacco is still accessible to our teens. Research shows that kids often turn to older friends and classmates as a source of cigarettes. Raising the tobacco sale to age 21 would reduce the likelihood that a high school student will be able to legally purchase tobacco products for other students and underage friends. And then also, nicotine doesn't make it easy for the adolescents to try to quit the product. Nicotine is a drug that occurs naturally in tobacco and is thought to be addictive as heroin or cocaine. The adolescent's brain is still under development at 18, causing them to become vulnerable to the nicotine. Brain development is not completed until 20s, and nicotine can chemically alter the teen development brains, making them more susceptible to nicotine addiction later. At a vulnerable age, teenagers may also incur more lasting damage from tobacco smoke. Also, nicotine is a problem for addiction amongst consumers. Nicotine is a drug that occurs naturally in tobacco and is thought to be addictive as heroin and cigarettes. So even as you question about the e-cigarettes and vape, nicotine is also a problem. That's what causes the addiction, the current addiction. So even at the decline of smoking, those other sources have increased, which still cause the addiction. Tobacco companies strategically use nicotine to keep their customers. We made an initial estimate that reducing the total nicotine content of cigarettes to a 5 milligram per rod would minimize the addictiveness. So there is a method where they can minimize the nicotine per cigarette, and they have tried telling them that for them to minimize the amount of nicotine, but tobacco companies refuse due to the fact that they know that's what lures their customers, or as they like to call them, their young adults. They target the younger adult smokers who, as R.J. Reynolds, executive said, he's like, tobacco companies have admitted that their own internal documents that if they don't capture new users by the early 20s, it's very unlikely that they ever will. And then as stated, the tobacco companies called their consumers the younger adult smokers as a disguised words and efforts to recruit teenage smokers. And R.J. Reynolds also stated, if a man has never smoked by the end of 18, the odds are 3-1 that they never will, and by the age of 24, the odds are 20-1. And that explains why the nicotine consumption in cigarettes, it's where it is to capture their smokers, and not lose their targeted market for their consumption. Also, so our policy in changing the legal tobacco consumption from 18 to 21 will have a positive impact in our adolescents' lives. As Dr. Brown from Ohio State University said, it is harder for children or teenagers to get their hands on tobacco products. The easier it would be to keep our next generation from becoming hooked on nicotine. So just changing it to 21 and creating a new norm for our new generation would just make it easier. They would understand. And even if there was, that they would start smoking prior to the legal age, the age would be, instead of right now how you said that they start smoking at 12, 13, that age would jump ahead to what it is now. Instead of smoking at 12, they might start smoking at 18, which was what it used to be. You know, it's not where we want to get to teens smoking at an early age, but it would also give us time for them to go through these programs that are already implemented and show that they're working, for them to understand by the time they're 18 to 21 that it's something that is very deadly. As you guys know that the tobacco company, it's the only legal substance that in their label it says that it's very harmful and can kill. It can actually kill, and it's in their labels, the cigarette labels, and people still consume it. And it's the only thing that is legal that actually has that. This will also be a significant change amongst our future generations. As such, a change would result in 250,000 fewer premature deaths among the born between 2015 to 2039. So those newborns, the new generations who have not yet know what the legal smoking age is, and it would be 12% fewer smokings by 2100. So changing our policy, as you can see, would not directly impact our current due to the fact that they know it's norm, but it will impact our new generations, and that's when we will see the significant change. Thank you.